Breaking news this afternoon, the husband of missing Chaffee County woman Suzanne Morphew has been arrested and charged with her murder. Barry Morphew's arrest comes just shy of 1 year since Suzanne's disappearance. Suzanne Morphew went missing on Mother's Day of last year when she went out for a bike ride and never returned. Days after she disappeared, Barry Morphew issued a plea to the public saying he would do anything to bring her back. Now he's charged with first-degree murder after deliberation, tampering with physical evidence, and attempting to influence a public servant. And we want to bring in Stephanie Butzer now from our digital team, who has been following this case for the past year since it broke around Mother's Day. Stephanie, take us through the last 360 days or so. How has this case unfolded?
So this all started on May 10th, 2020, so almost exactly a year ago to the day. And Suzanne Morphew, who's a 49-year-old mother of two who lives in Chaffee County in the Maysville area, she was reported missing by a neighbor who claimed to sheriff's office that they saw her go out on a bike ride and then she never returned. And so she was reported missing on the 10th. And from then there was kind of what you would expect, a pretty good sized search in the area. Not a lot of time had passed, and it was one of those cases where as the days go on, as the weeks go on, it kind of starts to fizzle as the action, as some folks will call it, kind of goes away. However, 6 months out, she was still not found. And I talked to the Colorado Bureau of Investigation about this case because it's still, it's a person who's missing. It's a family member, a friend, a sister who's missing. And they told me that despite, not coming out with a press release every day as they did in the very beginning, or every week or every month, they were still working on the case every single day. And CBI actually told me on November 10th, which marks the 6-month mark from when Suzanne was still missing, that they were still getting updates almost every single day on this case. And it was just something that they were not able to release to the public for whatever reasons, to keep the investigation, the integrity of the investigation. We haven't heard any updates on this case since November 10th until today, when Barry Morphew, who's Suzanne's husband, was arrested on a charge of first-degree murder, as well as a couple other charges. So we're waiting to hear from a press conference at 3 p.m. for more information on this case.
It seems that often it's someone closest to the victim that ends up being involved in these cases. But, we have mentioned that Barry Morphew was very actively involved in the search, telling people, I'll do whatever it takes to find her. Can you talk a little bit more about where he's been in this last year?
So shortly after Suzanne went missing last May, he put a Facebook message or a Facebook video out, in a message form of telling people that, he wanted help finding her. He desperately wanted her home. And for people who are familiar with some of these kinds of crimes in Colorado, it probably sounded extremely familiar, especially now knowing what we know, very familiar to the Chris Watts case. If you remember in that case a few years ago, Chris Watts, who was accused of and later convicted of killing his wife and 2 young daughters, also put out a video message, also pleading with the public, also meeting with reporters and having meetings and, being public about wanting to know where his wife was. And then we see it happen kind of in a scarily similar way here. Now, of course, Barry Morphew has not been convicted of anything as of now, but seeing that video and now hearing that he's been charged with first-degree murder definitely is a little scary and a little unsettling.
Stephanie Butzer from the Denver 7 digital team joining us, and you can see her full story on Suzanne Morphew and the arrest of Barry Morphew on the denverchannel.com right now. We also expect, as Stephanie mentioned, to hear from the Chaffee County Sheriff's Office at 3 p.m. today. Thank you again, Stephanie, and thank you for joining us.
Thank you.